Hello and welcome to episode.
Spooky season.
I don't know what. Are we on episode 4? Welcome to the
I think it's
Halloween
episode
special.
Yeah.
Spooky season is
very
in
spooky.
true effect, except we kind of missed the boat on this because Halloween was yesterday from when we recorded this, and when this will come
Yeah.
out, it'll be the 2nd. But it doesn't matter.
But we're filming at night, which is very spooky. I'm
Very
spooked right now.
spooky. I put on a green light behind me to be real spooky, but it's clipping, so it doesn't even look
Ooh.
scary. But we hope you guys have had a fun Halloween. Maybe you got to dress up in your naughty nurse outfit and have some fun with your friends. That's what I did. No, okay.
That's what I dress up every time. I don't know why people are so afraid of me every time. Wait, did you actually do any dress ups, or have you ever done any dress ups?
Nah. To be honest, Halloween is like, I really like the idea of Halloween, but I never actually like do anything with Halloween.
Yeah. I was talking about this with my girlfriend, and we.
Oh, okay, hold on. We get it. You have a girlfriend. All right, we get it. Casual.
Yeah.
Casual
So,
brag.
girlfriend and I.
All right, we get it. Get on with your story. We hate everything.
So
about
girlfriends exist. I've got one.
Got to catch them all.
Yeah, we both just kind of were like, oh, we've just never done that. We've just never, gone around the neighborhood, and it still happens in Australia, but
not in my area. Not out in the
Yeah.
rural.
Oh yeah, definitely, because you're in the bush, pretty much.
Yeah, I actually saw someone walking on our road on Halloween, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, are there some trick or treaters?" And it was an old, middle-aged, bald man walking his dog. So
That's a good outfit. Wow.
spooky.
Yeah. I'm pretty spooked out by that old man and dog.
You're going to die one day. Spooky.
Yeah. There will be oblivion at the end of it. Oh, spooky. Unless you believe in something else. I don't know.
My only Halloween thing is I do like horror movies, but I actually don't really end up watching them on Halloween. I just watch them all year round. So
True. Oh, I didn't actually know that. I didn't know you were such a horror fan.
I like certain horror, if half the movie is jump scares, I'm not interested. That's just lame, boring. I'm more into the horror movies with good stories and creepy horror. I think is better than just horror. But
Yeah, okay, yeah.
What about What about you? You don't do any dress up, Ryan? You don't get your naughty nurse outfit on?
I remember I've gone to a Halloween party before. That's the most amount I've done.
That's more than me, so you are wild, son.
Yeah. But then again, do you remember? Yeah, you were there. We dressed up as I dressed up as the Riddler, and I was in that green morph suit, and you were. Who were you?
Was I there? Was this the party that Seb went as Batman? I don't think I was there. No, I don't think I went to
it wasn't
that
a party. No, you would. I thought you were there. I thought there was 4 of us at least.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Was that a Super Fridays?
Super Fridays? I think it was.
I did go to that. I was Green Arrow.
Green Arrow. There you go. Yeah.
Which I now thinking back to that, I don't like Green Arrow, man. I don't know why.
Ooh. Wasn't it because you were watching Arrow, the TV show?
Yeah, and I was like, this is the thing I do. This is textbook me. I'll get halfway through the first season of something and be really liking it, and then start to buy merch or get really invested before I've I stopped watching after a couple seasons. And it's not because I didn't like the show. It's just other shows pop up, and you kind of have to pick and choose because you don't have time to watch everything unless you're that's all you do. But it's not my only hobby.
But yeah, there's much better superhero TV shows, I reckon. Just
what?
a real Daredevil is a really good one. Yeah, have you seen that?
Is that the one about an acrobat?
It's only Ben Affleck trying to get into his Batman suit and being an alcoholic. Anyways,
Wait, what?
No, it's
Maybe this is the show for me. No, I haven't. I've only watched a couple episodes of Daredevil, and I want to get into it, especially seeing, maybe he's in the new Spider-Man. He won't be.
Yeah,
he won't be.
yeah.
No, he won't be. But
no.
Ryan's like the idealistic person in this partnership, and I'm like the pessimist that's like, man, it's not going to happen. Anything you didn't see in the trailer won't be in the movie.
Glass half full of Daredevil, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying. I've
What
got
are you
some
saying?
insider knowledge. The optimist of me is glass half full.
What are you, a Charlie
full of
Cox
Daredevil.
half full?
Oh, dude. If they bring him back, Anyways, spooky facts.
Oh, spooky facts.
We've got
Ryan,
some
have you got a
spooky
spooky
facts to
fact
spit
for
at
us?
you. I do. And I literally looked it up like just before. And
No way you ruined the magic of this show by suggesting that we don't put that much effort into the pre-research. No way you do this.
I'm busy. I'm literally in my Brazilian jiu-jitsu outfit.
That's the story he tells everyone, including his girlfriend, but he's actually like watching Daredevil the whole time.
I mean, wouldn't be the worst pastime.
He's not denying it. All right, Ryan, what's your spooky fact?
So my spooky fact is that there's a Russian radio station and it's called UVB 76, and it's a low frequency radio station that has been broadcasting since 1982. No one knows where the broadcasting is originating. It's mostly just a buzzing noise with an occasional Russian voice transmission. Yeah. I don't know.
Get
Very get spooky. Your mind starts going like, oh, I wonder,
It's
I wonder.
just radio interference. Ghosts and aliens aren't real.
Oh, don't ruin the magic.
Well, Ryan, I hate to spoil it for you, but aliens aren't real. Yeah, that's right.
live for
I'm
that stuff,
Scully.
man.
You're Fox Mulder, and I'm Scully.
Freaking what was the government, the US government last year? They were pretty much like, yeah, UFOs, they're out there. We don't know what they are. Like,
Yeah, but they
didn't
released all
say
these
aliens.
clips that are like so clearly not aliens.
oh, but you don't know that. You don't know
Yes,
that.
you do. Have you
See,
seen
the
the Corridor
aliens are
Crew
working
video?
so well. They're aliens. Corridor Crew are working with the aliens, and
No, they're not. Ryan, I hate everything about it. All right, Ryan, are you ready for my spooky fact?
I'm so ready.
All right, so I'm gonna be able to hear you during this because I have a prop.
Oh, all right. Oh, jeez. What's this gonna be?
Hello, Ryan.
Oh, is that Michael?
Hello, Ryan. I am Michael Myers
Michael
from
Myers.
Halloween.
Oh. To all the listeners out there, he put on a Michael Myers mask, and yeah, that was a very spooky fact you got there.
Spooky. No,
Yeah.
my spooky fact is that in the original Halloween movie, this mask that they get, you might think on a movie that you'd spend a movie about a masked killer that you would spend at least like $50 or $100 on the mask that the killer wears in the movie, but they didn't. They ran out of budget, so they went down to their local Halloween shop and got a William Shatner mask as Captain Kirk from Star Trek. They spray painted it white, and that's the final mask that's in the original Halloween.
Oh my gosh! Wow, they literally just ran out of budget.
Well,
they got everything else, but not the mask.
Well, when you kind of look at the original Halloween, there's not much budget anywhere else. Like, there's one kind of famous actor in it. There's no...
yeah.
They're just shooting in the street of wherever they're shooting. There's a couple, like, blood packs that explode. Like, there's not much budget.
Okay, true, right.
But it's just funny that one of the most, like, notable faces of the horror genre is William Shatner. So
I feel like they need to put like a copyright symbol or something like just on his chin.
give him credit. I reckon he gets a giggle about that, because I would have a giggle if it was like my face got used in a horror movie mask.
Yeah, I wonder what that says about, like, oh, that's kind of ugly, or that's kind of spooky face. We'll get him. Like, why that face in particular?
I do not know. Wait, Ryan, why are you frozen for me? Am I lagging? I might be lagging. All right. I'll just run on with my news story because it's directly related. News story, newsflash. I'm a Halloween fan, and the new Halloween came out.
Oh, okay. Scale of 1 to 10. Joel's reviews. This is a new segment of the podcast.
7.3.
7.3. Very particular. Can you give us some reasons why?
It kind of recaptures for me. Like, I had a big grin on my face for a lot of the movie where, without spoiling any of it, they kind of go back to the night in 1978 from the original film and show you more of, like, they kind of have a character there who's only in the latest movie, but suggesting that they were there on the night in 1978 and this is their experience of what happened, and kind of we get to see some characters from the original, and you get all that nostalgia. So I enjoyed that of it. And as well, there's some gruesome kills. Like, there is some very gruesome kills in this movie.
So it satisfied that urge.
Yeah, that bloodlust.
That bloodlust.
Yeah, like, it's got some, it's Michael Myers. Like, you're not going to see a, beautifully crafted Nolan story. Like, yeah.
The
story is
about
what
you're
a killer.
Expecting.
Yeah, exactly. It's a killer who can't die. Like, you're not going to get great, amazing stories. But
well, let's think of some horror movies that have amazing stories. I've watched a couple of horror movies. I haven't watched heaps, but I think I can point to a few good ones.
I mean, I would suggest that Jaws is a horror movie. So, I mean, that has a really good story of, like, an island rallying against a threat and all of the human experiences associated with that. Yeah. What comes to your mind of some of the stuff you've seen? It can be anything. Remember, it's just our opinion, man. If you don't like it, like and subscribe.
Stuff you. Oh.
And
get out.
Yeah, get out after you
subscribe. Then get out. Yeah, gotcha. You know what? I watched. I'm not sure if it's a horror. It's kind of a horror. I watched this in cinemas when it came out. Don't Breathe.
Oh no, I count that as a horror. I haven't seen it, but I hear it's really good, right?
Yeah. It's blind veteran and it's just these thieves trying to break in and trying to steal something from him, or like just steal a lot of things. I can't remember. It's been a while, but I just remember, like, I just kept on getting blown away by the pacing and the character development that happens for especially the main girl, I think, and I was genuinely creeped out. Like, I just was not expecting it to creep me out, but because we're so used to the fairly supernatural elements. So I think the grounding story of this really, it had a sense of realism for me, and I felt in it, and yeah, even now, like, I'm getting a few goosebumps.
I've got that on my to see because it looked really good, and there's a Don't Breathe 2 that's coming. It's out.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen those films, but I would compare, from what I know about those films, to something like A Quiet Place as like a perfect way of building suspense through something that we usually don't see. So in Don't Breathe, from what I understand, it's, obviously you've got the idea of the veteran not being able to see. So there's a scary element in showing someone who can't see, like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like the
Yeah,
creatures in A Quiet Place that are so deadly, but they only come after you when they hear you. So there's that, like, they're using a sense. Both of these movies are using a human sense as a story point. Like I
Ooh.
love the Quiet Place movies. They to me
Yeah,
are
definitely.
the perfect combination of human story with like horror elements. Because you definitely wouldn't want to meet one of those creatures in the wild.
Yeah. And would you even say that? So you've seen A Quiet Place too. You said that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Would you say that they're on and they're pretty much equal, or would you say that this is my opinion. The second one was better than the first one.
The second one's better than the first one. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And
Which is hard to say, right? Because I loved a character from the first one that doesn't feature in the second one, and I thought that their story was really relatable. I don't know, I don't know if this is a guy thing or just like a particular personality thing, but that idea of protecting what you love and sacrifice, and that all kind of hits me whenever that hit, like that is the theme of a movie. I'm gonna get a bit connected and emotional because it just connects.
The self-sacrificial element for sure. Yeah. And
but the second one had a good story.
Oh, mate, yeah, I was entranced for the entirety of it. Did you watch it in cinemas?
No, I watched it at home. So I to be honest, I'm kind of moving away from I will very rarely go and see something in the cinema. Now, this is why. A
Okay.
movie like that would have probably been a bit better in cinema. The only reason I would go to a cinema these days is because I'm going to get spoiled if I don't go and see it in cinema. Or B, it's a movie that not relies, but its experience is heightened by not the big size of the screen. That I don't care about that. It's the sound at the cinema that really hits me for like Tenet. Tenet's a must-see in cinema. Like that movie was amazing in there. And I'm sure A Quiet Place with its beautiful sound design would have been really good in cinema too.
Yeah, and there's a certain atmosphere to it as well. I would actually like to, just on that point, I would love to go to like a dress-up premiere of some kind. I've done it before. I've done it before, kind of, with was it The Last Jedi? Was it The Last Jedi?
Oh, what a disappointment to go and dress up for.
Yeah. I dressed up as Darth Maul.
Sick.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of like I was just sort of like being all dressed up in the movie and just being like, it's
alright. It's alright.
It's okay. Yeah. But you were saying that the atmosphere of the cinema and the sound design and everything is something that you would go to the cinemas to watch a movie for.
Yeah.
Right? But then most of the time you're actually at home.
Well, if I'm going to consume, like, I consume a story much better at home. I can't stand people. And it's funny because I will talk during a movie at home, but I hate people in the cinema who talk during a movie.
Right. Okay. So, we can talk about that, Joel. So you don't like that part of yourself that talks in the
on episode 6, we talk about the mind of Joel, and we delve into
do a counseling session with you.
But it's I like the ability to pause it at home. I like the ability to eat during the movie without it costing me an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
But I also just kind of like consuming content because it's much more comfortable for me at home. But when it's less of a movie but more of an event, I'll go and see something. Like I wouldn't have missed Endgame in cinema.
Oh, yeah.
I actually missed Infinity War in cinema. I actually saw it at home.
Oh. So you were a
It-
bit late to the party there.
I
Or did you
actually
get
somehow,
spoiled?
I actually somehow stayed spoiler free. Mostly,
Ooh.
I knew that. I obviously I'd seen some disappearing memes, and been like,
Yeah, yeah,
"The fuck."
yeah.
But it
yeah.
still didn't change how much I was just hit at home. And I'm kind of glad I was at home because I cried during Endgame in the theater.
Oh, true. Wait, which part? Just like the, um, was it the charge? The charge
Yeah,
at the end, or
everyone coming together around Cap. I got teary,
Oh,
and I'm not even that big
yeah.
a fan of Iron Man, but I cried during that last bits of that
yeah,
movie
it was
too.
delivered very well. I think they did a really good job there. Um, yeah, true. Yeah, I guess I can relate in some aspects. Like, I actually enjoy watching movies with the subtitles on.
No,
At
I'm
home.
the same. At home, I will. If I'm watching it by myself, subtitles are on, but I can't watch it with other people with subtitles on. I get yelled at.
Oh yeah, same here actually. Like, oh, I went to some person's house recently, and we're all watching a movie, and I kind of said quietly like, "Oh, do you want to put the subtitles on? You know, let's just kind of."
Was
and they
it
went,
a resounding no?
yeah, they were like, "What? Why would you want it on?" Like they looked at me like as if I would just,
You're a crazy person.
yeah, as if I had just told them that 9/11 was an inside job and that I did it. You know, something like that. Oh, you got the glove? No way. Oh yeah, that's right.
I am inevitable. um, yeah, there's.
I thought that was just somebody else's arm coming through.
I am inevitable.
So to all listeners, Joel has a infinity gauntlet with all the infinity stones inside their sockets.
I am inevitable. But yes, cinema is interesting because cinema is kind of, in its own way, kind of dying
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not dying. You know, it's becoming a different kind of experience because I think it's going to be more people are going to go to the cinema more for particular experiences when movies transcend being a movie and they're actually like a phenomenon. Like, let's be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get tickets to the new Spider-Man on day 1 or day 2.
Oh yeah, same here.
We're going to go to that, and I think we should do a vlog of us going to that and some thoughts afterwards. But yeah, like I think we're gonna see higher value offerings being pushed through in cinemas to entice people to come back to the cinema. Because if you want an enticing movie, but not like a big blockbuster movie, you're probably going to stream it at home. If you want a great immersive story, you're probably going to watch a TV show. It's got to change, I think. What kind of movie brings you to the cinema?
Ooh. Yeah, definitely all those Marvel ones. They tend to pull me. I think it's mainly because I know I'm gonna get spoiled, and I don't want to be like,
That's me.
Oh, frick! Even though I know I've purposely spoiled things to people.
Yeah, no, Ryan was the kind of guy that would look up something as soon as like it had been revealed online or leaked.
Because I just love the memes about it too. They were always my favorite. But I guess one movie that I would love to see now. I'm not sure if Australia is screening it or not, but Dune or June.
This guy comes into this Discord call and goes, "Oh man, we should go see Dune." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Do you mean June?"
Dune.
I thought he said Doom, and I was like, "There's a new
Ooh.
Doom movie."
That would be. I would watch that.
Dude, if it was based on the new games, I would.
I wouldn't even care if it had like a crappy plot. I would just love to see Mick Gordon's soundtrack or Mick Gordon the Australian friggin' electric guitar god.
Just ripping it up, rip and tear. Man, if the movie opened with rip and tear, I don't know if I could control myself.
Yeah, I think my pants would fly off immediately. What were we talking about?
We were talking about what brings you to the cinema, Ryan. Dune. You were talking about Dune.
Yes, yeah. I think those mixes between art house and blockbuster sort of movies really capture me. I'm trying to think of like an example besides Dune, Boom. What's another one that? Oh, Arrival. I think that it's the same director, but get out of it. Get out of it. It's a good movie.
Okay, if you guys haven't seen Arrival, don't. It is the most terrible movie that has ever been released.
Oh, no.
It is an hour and 50 minutes waste of your life.
Oh, no. It's a good movie.
I would give that movie a solid 4 out of 10.
What?
4.
What?
4.
Oh. Okay. Should we do it with a spoiler warning? Whatever. Like, we need to talk about this. This is
I feel like
important.
this is more a sci-fi topic, but I think we could talk about this briefly here. I didn't find any of that movie intriguing or inspiring or like creative. I was just like, this is an hour 50 I will never get back. When I saw it was about aliens, I was like, look, I know it's not going to be an action alien piece, but I'm hoping there's some kind of interesting story. And then about halfway through it, I was like, this needs a Snyder cut.
Oh, Joe. Oh.
But we can't, Ryan, this is not a horror movie. We cannot talk about it on this podcast. But I think we need to write this down as a, we should do a week where it's just hot takes, where it's like we talk about things that one of us hates and the other one really likes.
Yeah, let's just fight for an entire week every day about the movies that we disagree on.
Because I think one of the ones you said was alright that I thought was really good was the new Mortal Kombat. I really liked it.
I thought it was okay. I'll give it.
That's not enough. I need you to hate it. I need a movie, like we need to find a movie you hate.
Yeah, what is a movie I hate? I don't know. I'm too optimistic.
Do you know what's so bad? Birdman. Birdman.
I have yet to see it, but I honestly
don't.
I've watched the trailer and watched a couple of things about it, and it looks like my sort of movie.
It does. No. This is the thing. It is definitely Ryan's sort of movie the more I think about it. But I'm not, as much as I say something is bad, it's, again, that's so subjective. In terms of like an objective look at a movie, Arrival was pretty good in terms of objectively. I just subjectively did not take anything away from the film. It was okay. It had some flow. There was some interesting, like, revelations about the main character through her experiences. They somehow linked her personal life to her learning about the creatures and things. Sure, there was some, and that's the thing as well. When we say something's bad, right? Everything has a positive. Every work has something about it that they did pretty good, because except Ghostbusters 2016.
okay, that is a movie that I was like, yeah, this is crap. This is shit. You know.
I hope the new one's okay, but I don't have a lot of hope for it.
Actually, all right, crap horror movie. Let's go. Besides Ghostbusters, well, that's kind of horror, but not really.
Wait, that's not. Oh, you're not saying the original's crap, are you?
The 2016 one.
Okay, good. I was going to say, because the original Ghostbusters, man,
yeah, it's got the groove, man.
I still sometimes listen to the Ghostbusters soundtrack. So crap horror movies, or maybe we put in the overrated. Oh, that's so bad. That is bad.
Okay. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. It wasn't the greatest.
Okay, do you know what I'll say about that? That movie, for me, was freaky weird, so I'll give that as a positive towards the movie.
Yeah.
But I felt like the whole movie of It Follows was a anti-sex commercial.
Pretty much.
It could have honestly been just an undercover government plan to like
play it at every Christian school ever.
It was honestly like, if you have sex, you will get a freaky possessed thing that will follow you, and you will end up dead.
Yeah, freaking.
It was okay. Okay, so
I'm just trying to remember.
you didn't think about horror for me. I would say that 95% of the horror genre I don't have time for or a care for, and I love horror.
True.
It's because 95% of things in the horror genre take from the genre but don't give anything back, like new or you know what I'm saying?
They're always playing off tropes.
Yeah, like as much as, have you seen Truth or Dare?
Is that the one where there's like a shot where is it she's like looking in the mirror and then it's like just it just turns into that really like big grin.
Yeah, so the whole plot of that movie is that Truth or Dare is a game that if you don't win or you try to not play the game, you die. That is the entire plot of that movie from start to finish.
Shit.
It's a bit like It Follows in that people are trying to get you to play the game so that I can escape. So it's passing on the game to to people
so
who
it's your turn now. You know that. Sort of thing.
But that face is the face that happens either when the game is being played or you lose. Like a lot of people make that face and then die. So it'll be like, for example, one of the guys is dared by, like, he's walking in the bar and a random girl just turns to him doing the face and is like, truth or dare? And he says dare, and she says, show everyone your genitalia. So he gets up on the pool table and goes, oh yeah, I'm a masculine guy. Oh, yeah. And then he has a second thought and he chickens out, so the game kills him.
Just immediate. How does he die? Is it just kind of
he's
like
on top of the
his head
table
goes up, or...
and he just immediately does the face. He slips on a ball and he cracks his head on the other table, like adjacent table, so he snaps his neck.
Yuck. Ugh.
But in terms of why I brought up that movie is because that movie had some good things about it, but it didn't really give a lot back to horror, which kind of makes it a B or below movie. So there's a horror where it's like The Conjuring. Like that movie is so good. I haven't seen part 2 or part 3 yet, but the first part was like.
Is that the one? If I'm not mistaken, is that the one where they're looking through old film and they can see that the person is getting closer in the film? Is that the same one, or is that Insidious?
No, that's Insidious. So Insidious is, I haven't seen Insidious, but that's like that found footage movie of like a demon kind of thing. Yeah, I remember that shot from the trailer where they're like looking through it and he's getting closer and closer. But think of that, right? It tried to do that as well. It chapter 2, or is it chapter 1?
Oh,
you know, in that movie
I've
where
only
they're
seen
like,
the first one.
oh, we need to watch that. The 2 new ones, I reckon, are much better than people give credit for. They are good films because there's good story. Like, you feel connected to the Losers Club. They actually give you reason to care about these characters and then also not care about some other characters.
Yeah, true.
But about The Conjuring, like, good story in terms of you've got the Warrens, Roberta Warren, and anyway, the Warrens, the real people who were like supernatural investigators.
Wait, yes, yeah. And this is like, it's like partially based on a true story. Is that what they sort of say? Yeah.
because this one's like The Conjuring itself. The first one is like about a family moving into a house that's haunted, and the Warrens come and investigate that. But you get this like really creepy story of why is the ghost haunting this place and what's the connection here. And I really enjoy that part of horror as much as I enjoy Michael Myers stabbing someone.
Okay.
It's the atmosphere, right? We're talking that side of it.
So like the supernatural element, like you're actually not too fussed about that. It sounds like you're fairly like it's more actually like when you watch a horror movie, do you watch it for like creepiness factor, or is it more a like, okay, let's see what sort of story comes out of this? Or
I think it's a bit of both. I think I'd be lying if I said I watched the horror genre for story. It's a bit like those people who say I watched the blank for the story. But
what's the blank, Joel?
It is what goes in, should go in guns on movie sets so that actors don't get killed. Too soon?
Too soon. Oh my god.
Just reference. I just made a joke that I mean lightheartedly and not actually about real life events. But someone just got killed on a movie set in America by a real bullet that was put in a gun that was supposed to be blanks. So that's really sad. That's also one of those things that really frustrates me about some filmmakers, in that should not happen in 2021. I know this isn't horror related, but gun safety 101. Like,
why have a loaded gun on set?
I really hope there's some criminal charges out of that investigation, because that woman should be alive, and that's really, really sad.
Yeah, she was a cinematographer, wasn't she?
I think she was the director, wasn't she?
Was she? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because she was either. Oh, you might be right on that. Maybe she was an assistant director. Because she was in charge of cinematography on the picture. You're right. Because she was standing behind the camera. That's where the bullet went.
Yeah. Mate.
Really sad. But I mean, the horror genre is for some people very different, because I think a lot of people watch that for the scare factor. Like, you get a bunch of your friends over and you want to, let's watch a scary movie. Do you like scary movies? But yeah, I think the story, like any movie, story is number one, and then you kind of have to figure out the other stuff. What's a kind of scary picture that you think of when you go, oh, that's a horror movie?
Like a pure horror movie, you're saying?
Oh, or something that kind of blends. I think horror is sometimes stuck into, people just call horror the B horror, what actually isn't the A horror, which kind of like blends between genres.
You know, I think actually the first, I know that these aren't actually meant to be horror, but I remember being a kid and watching the Halloween specials of The Simpsons. No,
they're horror. No, I will give you that. They were scary, man.
They are
what was it called? Like, Treehouse of Horror.
Treehouse of Horror. Oh, yes. And like, I just couldn't, like, I knew I'd be so scared, but I couldn't keep my eyes, like, I couldn't divert my eyes away from it. I just couldn't, like, not watch it. It was too good. So I think that was my first exposure to more horror stuff. And I could get away with it because it was like, I'm just watching The Simpsons, me.
But you also like learnt a lot about the horror genre, because like Treehouse of Horror, from what I remember, ripped off a lot of horror movies in doing the episodes, because it'd be like their take on this kind of horror movie, and like you'd learn a lot. But those were scary.
Yeah, the episode where they ripped off The Shining, I think was a really good one, and I think my dad had talked about The Shining, and he was like, "Oh mate, I've watched it once, and I'm not watching it again. I was too scared." And so like I had heard of that, and then like it seemed like The Simpsons were like to my 12-year-old mind, or whenever it was, yeah, to my mind, I was like, okay, this is they're ripping off The Shining, and I knew they were ripping it off, but you still get scared. It's not like this. Actually, The Shining is just such a good example of a pure horror movie.
Let's talk about The Shining. What did you think of The Shining?
Oh, mate. Like it's still, the old filmmaking, I think, actually kind of creeps me more out. Like the way it's all presented, it's still kind of old and, but it's so timeless. It's almost like it's a very, what am I trying to say? Like, it's been around forever. It's like
it's
been
a classic.
in our collective imagination forever, and they've only just presented this sort of
Well, I mean,
story.
it's become that much of a classic, hey, that if you're ever watching something that's horror or not, and you see two little identical girls, they're ripping off The Shining. Like, it's a homage to The Shining. But I would kind of argue that I think that film is overrated.
Ooh.
In that it's treated as if it's the best film ever made, but it's really good. Like, it's one of those movies that I think we sometimes you give it too much of an ego and push it up as such an amazing picture that you kind of lose that bit that it's like, it was really good, but like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
was that Stanley Kubrick?
yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that movie towards the end? It's that, like, the famous line is, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All work and no.
That's it.
Oh, because in that movie, is he a writer?
Yes.
Because towards the end of that movie, we've seen him the whole time writing, and she comes over to the typewriter, and all he has written the whole time that they've been there is all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, over and over and over across pages and pages.
Again, goosebumps. I'm literally getting goosebumps.
Yeah, I got goosebumps a bit there. And I think he kind of starts whispering. He's like, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah. And you get
Here's Johnny.
Yeah, you get that classic, the axe getting put down into the door and yeah.
Oh, and the blood in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. And it kind of just overtake. Oh, mate. Stanley Kubrick did 2001: A Space Odyssey, didn't he?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but he has. I know. True. It's a classic I haven't seen. I know.
Oh, mate. Okay. Well, once you see it, we'll have to have a little talk about it, because it's such a crazy ending, and such a you get such a weird feeling once it ends. And I'd love to hear what you have to say about that, because I was just like, what the heck is this? This is insane.
Speaking of, we'll have to watch. I'll have to watch that, and we'll have to chat about it. Speaking of endings, have you seen The Thing?
The Thing. Oh yes, the most recent one and the old one. Yeah.
Oh my god, how good is the old one?
Oh mate, yeah.
Okay, I that's horror. I'm gonna put that in the horror category. It's probably more sci-fi than it is horror, but it's a scary movie. In not trying to, like, it wasn't sold as, and I'm not marketing it to you if you haven't seen it as like a horror movie, but that movie is, I think, the perfect example of great story. That's where you spend most of your time and budget. And then the other bits, that's where the craft comes in, and you don't have to throw money at those bits necessarily, because some people are just like amazing at what they do, like the prosthetic stuff in that film.
Yeah. I think I heard this. Is it the set designer or just the prop designer? He just fell in love with the story, and he said that he didn't go home for 3 weeks at one point because he just kept on developing. I think it was that scene where, spoilers, it's for 1976 or something. I don't know, but
where
I
they're
think you're
doing
gonna, if you're going to talk about like a monster bit, that's fine as long as it's not the ending. We won't spoil the ending of the thing.
But when he's got the defibrillators, and so this guy, he was like, I think it was in the script, and he was like, "Oh mate, this is so cool." And I think I was watching the behind the scenes. I don't know where I'm getting this from, but he just did not go back to his family for 3 weeks, and he just was like so encapsulated with that idea of the hands going into the belly, and and then the alien going, and like as if they're big teeth that straight into his arm, and then you see the blood, and then you see like the little bits and pieces from the body becoming more of the alien and trying to
The era before computers has some of the best filmmaking because you don't have crutches like computer generated visual effects to like make your movie interesting or good. These movies literally had to go from a guy as passionate as that going, how can we shock the audience? And to this day, I rewatched The Thing with our good friend Matt recently.
Oh yeah.
He had never seen it, so I made him sit down and I watched it with him.
Oh.
I still to this day, and watching it then, when he goes to use the defibrillator, I can't.
The
paddles. Defibs. And his hands, instead of going onto the chest, go through the chest cavity. Shocking. That shocked me. Like every time I watch it, I still don't expect it.
How was Matt when he first saw it? Do you remember?
He was he doesn't love spiders, and there is a manifestation of the creature in The Thing that is a little spider-like.
Yeah.
But I kind of just said to Matt, "Oh, don't look now," and it's fine because the bit that freaked him out was the head of that guy gets chopped off, and it becomes the spider, like with the legs that come out of him.
Yeah. Oh.
But then they quickly, deal with it. So I was like, Matt, don't worry, they get rid of it right now.
Yeah, they get the flamethrower out, and they go.
But I live for the story of that movie. I still to this day love watching theories on. To not spoil the ending. How The Thing moves through the different people in the film. I love watching. I watched like a 45-minute documentary of some guy on YouTube analyzing the film to do a timeline of who was the thing when.
Oh,
and like those things just because that's John Carpenter, isn't it? Who did that?
Is it really?
Yeah, that's Carpenter's movie.
I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Yeah, look it up. I'm almost sure that's Carpenter now I'm thinking about it. He is a legendary filmmaker.
Yeah, I think it. Let's see. Is
it John Carpenter?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Bam.
So he also
it had Keith David in it.
Who's that?
Keith David is. He's in. Have you watched The Nice Guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the.
I did not like that movie.
Oh, really? He's just been in heaps of movies, like Requiem for a Dream, and
he'd have to be an older guy now, right?
Yeah.
Like
Princess
40
and the
years.
Frog. He's in Rick and Morty. What? Far out. Anyways.
Carpenter, funnily enough, he did The Thing, but he also did Halloween, the movie I talked about earlier. So he's definitely a horror genre man. Funnily enough, I only clocked this when we were watching the new one the other day. John Carpenter directs Halloween, and he composed the soundtrack for Halloween.
Really?
So he still to this day gets credit for the soundtrack in the movies.
That's so
when
good.
It
gets the royalties, baby.
Oh. Dun 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 dun.
So wait, I haven't seen Halloween in forever. Is that the one where it's like, this is Halloween,
No.
Halloween? Oh, okay.
Halloween is Michael Myers murdering all the...
Wait.
Yeah, so
okay.
No, this is Halloween. Everybody make a scene.
Yeah.
That's from A Nightmare Before Christmas, the Christmas movie. But by the way, I mean that movie is good. A Nightmare Before
I haven't
Christmas.
seen it.
So that's Tim Burton. It's all claymation, that entire movie. So if you're really into cool ways to make film, you should watch that. I try to watch it with my brother every Christmas because it's actually a Christmas movie. Like, I know from the things you look up and see about it, it sounds like a Halloween movie, but the movie's plot is Jack Skellington, the leader of the Halloween world, accidentally finding his way into the Christmas world, and like the Christmas, his experience of Christmas and him trying to learn what Christmas is about, and then he tries to be Santa, and I won't spoil too much of the movie, but it's like that discovering what Christmas is actually all about, and like that kind of film.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what that's from. No, I will make you watch Halloween 1982. I think that's when that came out with me one day. Because it's like just like a classic like movie we could make with like a couple connections and a little bit of money, but it was made back then in like and it kind of is like a cult classic horror. But I reckon we change tacks here because we've got some more time, a bit more time on this episode. What about scary games?
Ooh, scary games. Well, do you remember the first scary game, or at least game? Slender Man. Oh, well, okay, maybe the first game that had elements of where you would get scared in.
I don't know. I didn't play a lot of games like that. I played a lot of shooters, and there were just I kind of get this is no cap right now. I got kind of freaked out. No, not Minecraft.
Oh, okay.
A bit by COD Zombies and any kind of zombie games. Zombies back then for me was like a really exhilarating thing because it kind of freaked me out, but it was trying to stay alive. And you played Outlast, right? That was kind of your time.
Oh, oof.
Yeah, I haven't finished it still to this day. Why not? I don't think I could finish it, man. I remember just for my first thing, I remember on our family computer back when I was a kid, we had Age of Empires, we had
Age of Empires.
Yeah, some other game, and then there was Left 4 Dead.
Classic.
And I accidentally double clicked on Left 4 Dead. I didn't know how to like close it immediately, like Alt F4 or anything. So I had to wait until it got to the main menu so I could press quit. But
isn't there an intro scene before the menu in that game of like? I'm pretty sure there was a scary intro thing in that game.
Yeah, I think my brother played it, and so I think there was like an intro, and I think I was pressing escape heaps. I was like, ooh! But it got like, I remember just even hearing the soundtrack to the main menu, and I was like, freak this! Like, this is the worst thing ever. Like, why would you play this? And I press quit.
I have to say I'm not that into like horror video games, but I did play quite a bit of Slender Man, and that I think that game is a classic example of the anticipation's better than the actual scare.
Yeah. Actually, think about. Do you remember the soundtrack that it would have?
Wasn't there some kind of like?
It would be like, it was like kind of like deeper bass, I think. It was kind of like or something like that. Like and there was, it would have like, it would be like this bassy sort of drum, and it would just kind of go
yeah. And it got faster the longer you didn't get a page, right?
I think that was it. Or maybe it was like as you got more pages.
I think it was actually, no, it wasn't about the pages, was it? It was about time. Like you had a set amount of time before Slender Man was like would end you. But
if the camera can pick it up, I'm getting goosebumps.
what about the sound, like the sound effects? Because you'd hear like the leaves blowing in the at night, and you'd hear like the crack. It'd be like cracking of little branches and sticks on the ground, and like.
Joel, I'm meant to go to bed soon. I can't.
Honestly, after I watched the new Halloween, I legitimately at the moment my like hallway in the house is being renovated, so I have to like walk outside through the dark to get into my thing. I had my torch out and I was like, I have just watched a Michael Myers film. I'm looking for Michael Myers.
And you're like in rural too, like you don't know. Oh, mate. Oh.
But and Slenderman with the like. There'd be a musical cue when you could see him, even though sometimes your eyes actually didn't pick up that you saw him. There'd be like a doom.
Yeah. And like I think it was just a bunch of piano keys that played, right?
Just being pressed, and then
there's get spooked. Oh, right.
And then suddenly he would like, because it was all about how long you looked at him, right? And it was like you had a battery of sorts, or like a battery of the brain. You could look at him, but that depleted how long you could look at him later. So like,
yeah.
And then he'd be like in the distance.
Those
and
little mechanics. Was it a camera that you had? Is it like a kind of like Outlast? I can't remember.
Yeah, was it I think no, you had a flashlight.
A flashlight. Yeah.
I think you had a camera too. Did you have a camera? Is that a different game? I don't know. I can't remember. I might have to go back and play. We might have to do a playthrough of Slenderman. But I hear all the movies suck. Have you heard anything about the movies? Like that people have tried to make Slenderman movies?
Really? Oh, actually, yeah. I didn't.
There was a 2018 one.
I thought that was like Siren Head or something. Whatever that thing is. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that. Isn't that from a big franchise? I can't think what franchise that is.
Is it Resident Evil?
It's either Resident Evil or like the other one that Sony owns.
Whatever that one is. It's not a zombie one.
The evil. The evil.
Silent Hill.
No, actually, I think it is from
Hill.
Silent Hill. But what's the one Sony owns? The something the evil?
Evil Dead. I don't know.
Oh man, horror movies. Oh, the Evil Dead, man. Those movies are sick.
I haven't seen them. I've only seen the most recent one.
Is
like
that
the sort of remake?
Army of Darkness? Oh no way! You watched the one that was the remake. No,
and it was like
way.
the demon girl. Yeah.
So that one sucks. But the other ones, man. Oh.
Yeah, remember that scene? Like, have you seen that one? Like the most recent one?
Yeah. It's not.
I remember I got shown that when I was like 14, and
it's very early.
Yeah, I was just that was yuck. Like,
yeah, not okay.
Minor spoilers. Like, there's a scene where like this sort of demon has encompassed in this sort of bush. Was it or spiky sort of bush? And
I don't remember that.
I don't like it had a. I don't know. It was like a part of the forest or something, and so, but then it shoves its way up this girl's vagina. Yeah.
Okay, Ryan. Beep. Yikes. That scene is so. That's one of those things that was part of the original, not the going inside the woman with the tree. But the spirit in the original Evil Dead like kind of took over the environment around the shack. So there was like it'd grab you around the ankle with that thing, or like there was no weird. That's kind of like a new thing that we now somehow sexualize horror movies. There's a lot of that in horror movies.
It's almost like
very
Freudian
confusing.
sort of stuff. Yeah. Like very psychoanalytic stuff. Yeah.
Dude, I'm watching, speaking of Freudian, I just started watching Animal Kingdom, that movie about the TV show on Netflix about a crime family, and there is that many Freudian like relationships between mum and son in that freaking
Ugh.
show. That's so gross. It's like Tigerian. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But horror games is interesting. That you don't see a lot of them coming out anymore. Like there was a good run of like the Resident Evils are going to be around friggin' forever, and they'll keep
Yeah,
remaking those
yeah.
till Kingdom Come. What was that? They did an Alien one.
Oh yeah. Alien Isolation. Is that what it was called? That seemed pretty good.
Have you seen Alien, the original?
You know what? I haven't. I know. I need to see it. Was that the Ridley Scott one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know. I need to see it.
We're gonna be doing some pretty exciting things soon with this podcast, and either before or after an episode in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna make him watch Alien.
Oh, far out.
That's a classic horror movie for suspense versus action. Like it gets
Cool.
that balance, and that's the kind of thing that you need with one of these like horror movies. But the weird thing about the sex and romance in horror movies, I feel like that starts with horror movies like Scream, that had a very like maybe not sexual but
As in-
romantic aspect.
Yeah, like getting this woman getting tracked down by this man, like very one-on-one, very intimate.
And spoilers for Scream. Spoilers for Scream. I'm about to spoil the ending of Scream. One of the killers. Have you seen the original Scream?
No.
Oh.
I don't care.
Are you gonna watch it?
Oh, probably not. You know, we've got a whole other movie list that I need to pile through.
One of the killers. It turns out in Scream, the original. Spoilers for Scream, the original Scream, and that might spoil the new TV show or the new movie. I don't know when the new ones are based. But the original Scream, Sydney is the main character, this really strong female lead. It turns out later on that the killer was in two different places at the same time. There was actually two guys who were doing the killings in the same mask.
Oh.
So it was like one of them turns out to be Sydney's boyfriend. So
Oh, what?
that has that extra like romantic sexual tension in a
Yeah.
horror movie. But I don't know when we went awry. I don't need my horror movies to have such a weird physical and sexual aspect, please.
Yeah, like...
Now you mentioned that Evil Dead. I get it. That was actually a classic. I now remember that, and it still gives me trauma. What you saying about it? Like, what's your take on that?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it's like, what the frick? You know, how
do people...
I don't know. I was 14, so I guess I still have that sort of weird trauma associated with it. But
No. It's still weird today.
Okay, yeah. All right, we settled that. No, yeah, it's like, what part of our imagination can just get up to like that sort of crazy sort of stuff? Like, you know, Freud would have a field day with this. He would be like, "Oh, see, I told you, man," as he snorts cocaine and. You know,
Wouldn't Freud have a
unconscious.
go at Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, definitely. He would froth that stuff, man. Like,
Yeah, I reckon. Just as a little psychology student.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the ins on that. Would you say that what's the... There's certainly with these kind of things, hey, we're showing a weird thing or a really kind of crazy thing in film and TV and books, and there's some weird part of the human psyche that actually wants to see something weird but denies that it does.
Yeah, it's the
Like, you know, I think Carl Jung would call it like the shadow, or you know, Freud would call it the id, which is just like the disgusting, very disgusting parts of ourselves, and the shadow is a bit more, you know, like, you know how, okay, just a real quick thing, the sort of Oh, have you heard of the Stanford prison experiments? You probably have. It's fairly pop
What's
psychology.
the conclusion of that? I think
It's
I
like
have.
it's like, if somebody puts you in a place of authority, you're more likely to be inhumane.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
yeah, no, I
that sort
have
of-
heard of that story.
Yeah. So pretty much the shadow is kind of like, oh, you know how you hear like, oh, if I was in Nazi Germany, I would save the Jews and be very and the all the minorities there. I would save them all. No, you wouldn't.
That ignores the context and the pressures of because what you're talking about is the whole nation wasn't evil.
Yeah, what you're gonna say? The entire Germany was just like, oh yeah, we friggin' yeah. They just got carried into their own sort of shadows, and they didn't even realize. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same as like we got to be careful. I know this is we've gone down a really weird route with this one, but like I feel like it's the same when we see dictators like Kim Jong-un at the moment, and look, I can't remember the Chinese president's name. I can't.
Winnie the Pooh, that's his name.
Visible disgust. I think we got to be careful not to just lump up a whole people's or a whole nation up to whatever their leader thinks or does on a it's like at the moment watching Scotty Morrison at the global the summit and being like, I don't agree with what he's not wanting to go with some of those sustainable goals, but that doesn't define all of us as a nation as like bad eco people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think it's the same as like what we were saying about weird things and liking certain weird. I'm not gonna go. I open a can of worms, but like I mean like things like, oh, you like watching murder documentaries, or you like watching air crash investigation, or like
that there is a certain part of us that is kind of I think, what's his name, David Fincher, is it Fincher? No, he's made
I know Fincher,
Fight Club and all those movies. Yeah, he said that, like, I think he got asked like, why do you think people watch your films? And they're quite grotesque and they're quite crude and very just disgusting in a lot of parts. And he just said like, well, there's a lot of people that are just pedos. Like, he literally just said that. Like, he literally just said like,
what a loose guy.
Yeah, he's literally just said like, the people that watch my films there's a part of them that is probably fairly disgusting, and there's a large majority of people these are mainstream films, so.
Well, I feel like as long as it's not illegal and it's not unethical, if it's just weird, you do you, boo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
As long as you're not affecting someone else, we should put because it's.
Oh yeah.
I reckon we need to do a whole episode on like politics, man. Because I feel like if you subscribe to like a politics of, like a kind of a liberal view that it's about freedoms and it's about rights, those come with responsibilities. It's like you're kind of ignoring the whole half of the literature on like liberalism if you just go with the rights instead of the responsibilities.
Yeah.
And it's the same as like, you have a right to do whatever you want in our society unless it's illegal or unless it, infringes upon another person's freedom. So like, as long as you're not... Well, okay, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. But like if you're one of those like crime documentary people, or you like air crash investigation, or you really like horror movies or whatever, and if it's people find it weird that you do that, but you like it, go for it. I feel like it's like anime. Anime's kind of started as like, that's weird, but now it's like it's mainstream. It's funny how certain bits of content.
Oh, definitely. It's not on the fringes of society anymore. Same with gaming as well. It's not like a basement crawler. Everybody does it now.
It's the same with like role playing in Dungeons and Dragons. Like it wasn't that long ago that people were really opposed to Dungeons and Dragons because they thought it was like bringing demonic possession into the lives of the players.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah. Well, it is true. But
there's actually a as one of my players, you better be careful with what you're about to say. There was actually a Tom Hanks movie, no cap, that is about him and his friends playing a role-playing tabletop game, and it brings like satanic influences into the world. No cap. You can look it up.
What?
I can't remember what it's called, but he was like fairly young when he did it.
Dungeons and Dragons. I'm sure. Okay, Mazes and Monsters.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's literally D&D. Like everything you see in that is D&D. I scrubbed through it a bit, and it's like they're talking about D&D without using the IP. But I guess to qualify,
2 hours.
Yeah, I mean 2 hours of hate on D&D.
Yeah.
But I guess to like wrap up our ideas on what we're saying about the crazy bits of the mind and what we want, you see in things. I guess the difference is, seeing Cersei and Jaime Lannister being weird on Game of Thrones doesn't mean you're a weirdo like them in real life. There's parts of us that want to see different and crazy and disturbing things because it's different to our everyday life, and that's what makes it interesting, or interesting to think about. Doesn't mean you're going to go out and it's like the same as when people are like, oh, you play a shooter video game, you're going to turn into a school shooter. It's like that's not how the world works.
Yeah, and there was even a game about I think it was school shooting or just shooting up like an entire town full of civilians. I think it was called Hatred or something, and it got bombed. Like every critic, all the people on Steam hated it. It's not, that's not it. Yeah.
It's funny as well that, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just like, are we...
I think we should probably wrap up.
yeah, I was going to say.
I guess our summary is, if you're a bit weird and it's not illegal and it's not infringing upon anybody else's rights or freedoms.
Stop it. Please stop being weird. You are a danger to us. No. We love you. You're cool. You're good.
Weirdos unite, I guess, but not like if you're doing stuff that's real bad. Please stop.
Furries are dumb. Stop it.
But if you're like weird is like I like anime or like I play Dungeons and Dragons, like you're just a nerd. You're not a weirdo.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right. Thanks for watching this episode of us. Dab. Talking about some Halloween stuff and horror and all things good.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us again. Well, I have been Joel.
And I have been not Joel, but Ryan.
I've gone the wrong way.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you.